2026 is shaping up to be huge here for Dragonwilds and its players. Let's talk about what just got revealed, what it all means, and what you guys can expect here on the horizon for the game. So Jagex just hosted its first ever Dragonwilds Summit. The entire theme was basically simple. It was stop looking back as we're going forward. They're basically saying that the game's growing fast, the team is bigger than ever, and 2026 is the year that they start feeding us content on a schedule. And if you've been waiting for reasons to jump back into the game in between major content updates, well, they're going to be leaning heavy into monthly minor updates in between. These minor updates will be introducing new side quests, rewards, activities, and stuff that pulls you across the map instead of just bank standing in denial. And it seems they're still on track to release a big major update every quarter of 2026. So essentially 4 big major region expansions we can expect here for 2026 as major updates. The second version that they're still sticking to are going to be these minor updates. They're planning to have roughly 2 minor updates in between each quarter update. And this is going to be huge for the game because if they can deliver on this is honestly one of the biggest downfalls I have seen so far with Dragonwilds being able to retain or not retain players in between their updates. Now, the next big major update that we could expect is going to bring us to Dowdun Reach, and it is definitely giving me the Evil Fortress energy, heavy Zamorak vibes. Dowdun Reach is a vast interconnected fortress that's basically a decayed, chaos-soaked stronghold. There's going to be more interiors, more dense exploration, hidden paths, secrets, side quests. This is literally built off of players' feedback of give me more buildings to go inside of. And I absolutely love this idea because all of the regions and zones that we currently have in the game right now have all been this outside wilderness field kind of foresty, vibe, if you will. So I'm very excited to take on a different aspect here. Instead of building more of like a wide landscape that takes you forever to travel across between, it's more going to be built into close quarter combat and situations, and then it's going to be building and stacking vertically here for the fortress. I think it's going to be an absolute awesome addition here for the game. We've got Black Knights in the halls, and they're going to be holding the line against the Zamorakian mages because the place has fractured into splintered groups that want you gone on sight. Additionally, with the Dowdun update, we're going to be getting the mithril tier gear. We're going to be getting the fishing skill finally added into the game. And lastly, the thing that's going to have the biggest impact of the game is going to be introducing dedicated servers. And they talked a little bit about this here in the live stream Q&A that happened at the end, where people did get a chance to ask some questions. And yes, the biggest one was, will players be able to host their own dedicated servers? And the answer was yes. I think this is going to be a massive W here for RuneScape Dragonwilds, and this is something that a lot of players have been asking all the way since alpha testing for the game. And lastly, but certainly not least here, when it comes to Dowdun Reach in March, they're also going to be introducing the level 99 option here for all of the skills available in the game. And now, as exciting as level 99 skills are when it comes to, RuneScape and them coming to Dragonwilds, I know everybody's been excited for this, especially the old school RuneScape fans. There's a couple of caveats here to keep in mind, not to kill your hype, but to just kind of tone it down a little bit or set the expectations, okay? Even though the skill cap is going to be increased to level 99, the perks that are available for leveling up basically that skill are still going to be stopped at level 50 as of right now. They're not going to be going through and adding in all of these additional perks for each individual skill tree from level 50 to level 99 when they introduce it. Instead, they'll be adding those as time goes on, right? Probably via a lot of these little minor updates in between the major updates that are going to be dropping quarterly. So with that being said, if you happen to achieve, let's say, level 60, right, in a skill, when they do add additional perks to that skill that you've hit level 60, it will be retroactive, okay? Meaning that you'll just log in one day after it's been activated into the game, and then you'll just get a handful of perks unlocked on your screen because you've already achieved whatever that level requirement is for those perks. Additionally, here they did kind of mention and hint a little bit to skill capes being added into the game, which is absolutely exciting again for all my RuneScape players out there. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work yet, what their plan is, what the capes look like, and if it's going to be for every skill. We're not exactly sure as of right now, but when I find out more information, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Now, in addition to the skill cap increase to level 99, they also talked about how Runecrafting is going to be getting a full rework. Currently, right now in the game, it is lackluster, right? They're going to be changing the mechanics, how it plays into the game, what you have to do in order to achieve certain runes. There's probably going to be some sort of failure that's going to to be failed attempts that's going to be added into there, just like they've added with the cooking. I mean, again, we're not exactly 100% sure what to expect, but they did state that they understand it, and that's going to be a main focus here going in for, I believe, Dowdun Reach as well. Now, next up this summer, we could expect the Umbral Sands region to be released. Now, this one's going to be a scorching hot desert sand. In this zone, the sun is definitely not going to be your friend. You're going to need to consume a lot more water than we typically would in other regions. And what I absolutely love about Umbral Sands here specifically is going to be because the mechanics of the region are completely reversed to anything we have seen yet in the game. And that's going to be boiled down to the night and day cycle and when is going to be the safest time to go out and explore. Well, in all of the other regions currently, the typical time is going to be during the day, right? The night has kind of set it up to be the enemies are more aggressive, it's very hard to see, it's very dark, you know, all of that stuff. Well, Umbral Sands is flipping that on its head, and during the day, as one would expect, it's going to be scorching hot, eventually killing you if you stay in it long enough, right, and becoming dehydrated. So what they're actually doing is they're intending players to actually shift more to play at nighttime in this zone compared to what we've done previously in other regions, which again, I think is a very cool mechanic to kind of introduce here and change things up for the players. However, though, don't get too comfortable at nighttime because the new leader in that area, I believe is Fuzan, is also hunting at nighttime because not only is it cooler and easier to do so, but they also know that that's where most people are going to be active. So again, definitely got to stay vigilant and on your feet here in that new zone. But I'm excited for the brand new mechanics or the flip on the current day and night cycle. As mentioned before, here Umbral Sands will feature Fuzan, the fiery red dragon. That'll be featuring Kalphites, which are going to rule the sands. The Kadhar is going to be in and around Fuzan's volcanic tower and cavern areas. They're going to be introducing adamant progression at tier gear. And the Garou faction is going to be more friendly and more NPC presence that are going to be handing out quests, abilities to trade, and give you some actual life to the dunes. Oh, and I almost forgot here, they did just casually drop, you know, for the Umbral Sands, a hint of something called a Nightmare Crucible. There was a little bit of talk, you know, back and forth on the live stream reveal, but I believe in-game came up, so some sort of like in-game content, in-game loop, and then it's something about a gauntlet and being very hard, you know, to complete or master, right? Obviously, they're going to be having some sort of handsome reward to go along with you conquering the Crucible or this Nightmare Crucible. But yeah, as of right now, that's all the information that we know. Again, as more information comes out or is revealed, I'll be sure to do a follow-up video on that, so make sure you're subscribed here on the channel. And last but not least, that brings us to the end of 2026, and that is the Scorned Wilderness. This is going to be introducing the Runite armor tier. This will be featuring Kuldra herself, the 5-headed dragon. And unfortunately, that's all we currently know as of right now for the Scorched Wilderness. We understand their concept. They know kind of what their vibe is going for and what they want it to be. They really want the entire zone to kind of feel more of like a build up here to taking on this boss fight, and it to feel like a really true end to the Kuldra saga, you know, wrapping it up as you slaying the 5-headed dragon. But with that, survivors, I want to know, man, how are we feeling, dude? I think a lot of this stuff looks really good. I'm very excited to jump into Dowdun Reach here coming up in March. I just love the fact that it's a vastly different, you know, zone and area from what we've seen so far in RuneScape Dragonwilds. Don't get me wrong, I loved Fell Hollow, but it did feel very, you know, close or resembling of the other zones. So being able to leave the outside wilderness thing and then go more of like indoors and more of like a verticality, you know, direction, I'm absolutely excited and here for that. When it comes to all the other updates, again, I'm super pumped up for those, but they're going to be a lot later here in 2026. I'm sure we'll get a lot more information and things could potentially even change for some of these, obviously, the closer that we get to those launch times. But I'm always curious and eager to know, what are your guys' thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments, which update are you most excited about? Is there anything here that you hope that they would add that they did not announce, or that you are hoping that would be more RuneScape-y or anything like that? Let me know that as well down below. As always, if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here on the channel for everything RuneScape Dragonwilds. And with that being said, as always, guys, I'll see ya on the next one.